Hello everyone, I am RJ Yashi from the Radio Narad 90.4 FM and the program Mangalwani has been started. As you know, this is your favorite program. So let's begin. Today we have a special guest in our program, in our radio. So our special guest is a composer, educator, music explorer, saxophonist and working in jazz music especially. He is born in North Carolina in 1963 from America. And if we talk about his awards, so President Award of Excellence in 2011, Provost Award of Excellence in 2017 in teaching. This award has been awarded to our special guest and he is performed in 30 to 38 countries as well. If we talk about him, he is expert in classical, he is expert in world music, he is cross-cultural collaboration, and if we say in short, he is experimental musician. And if we say about his education background, he is bachelorate, master's and doctorate in Sangeet, jazz and composition. Yeah, in the middle of us, we are welcoming Vanjanam Boone sir. So, very welcome in Radio Narad 90.4 FM.
Namaste to you and to all of your listeners on 92.4 FM.
Sir, I am so glad to meet you today and I am very happy that you are here today.
I'm absolutely thrilled to be here. I was invited by a dear friend and colleague and collaborator that I've wanted to see where he worked and meet his students for many years now, and it's just an absolute delight to be here. There's nowhere else on the planet Earth I would rather be right now.
So beautiful, sir. If we talk about your musician journey, what will you say?
Well, I began as I think my introduction to music was singing in a church choir. And then very shortly, when I was very young, maybe even 6 years old, I started making up songs.
Oh, really? 6 years old? You were a child on that time?
Yes, I did puppet shows. I used to love to do puppets, hand puppets. I built a stage and did puppet shows. And I would make up, with my mother, I would make up puppet shows for different Sunday school classes, and then I would compose music for the different characters. So that was really my introduction, I think, into music. And then very shortly, as I was going into high school, wanted to experiment even at that time and try and do something different. So I would listen to the radio, but I would play the saxophone with it and do my own things with it rather than imitate what was being done. So I wanted to learn how to do that better. That's why I majored in jazz, because jazz is centered on improvising.
Okay.
And then while I was in jazz school, I also started to be interested in writing music for classical orchestra.
Okay.
So I started doing that. Some really wonderful things happened for me because I did that. And I got wonderful opportunities then to go to masters in Boston, for example, and study classical musical orchestra composition. And so that then is what I did my doctorate in, was the main focus of my life after my bachelor's degree for many years. But then I decided that as I was getting older and I was starting to think, why did I get in music in the first place? And wonderful things happened in classical composition for me. Wonderful. I had opportunities to work with some leading performers, have my music played all over the world, and it was wonderful. I had no complaints. But I got into music to play, and I knew I was getting older, and if I was going to do it, I needed to do it now. And so I switched and started to say, no, I'm going to focus more on jazz performing. So that's when I got even more interested in collaborating with different musicians from different cultures and different places, and we can talk more about that. But that has been my journey.
So I think I am so blessed that I am sitting with you today. So can you describe what is jazz music and how can we understand the jazz music?
Yes, so my feeling is that jazz really is black music in America. Okay. Or that's a term that a lot of musicians are using now instead of jazz. So it developed from enslaved peoples in the United States in the early 1900s, and it really is an expression of individuality by a people who had been oppressed for generation after generation after generation. So to me, jazz signifies freedom of expression. It gives power to the individual. and everyone needs to listen to everyone else in an equitable manner. So it really is an improvisatory-based music. You might hear a melody, but then the job of the musicians is to try and make something new out of that melody and the harmonic structure. So that's what struck me about the music.
Okay, so we can say that jazz music is cover all the feelings of the human, right?
Well, all is a big word. You're a journalist, so I can't say all, but I can say that of the musics that I'm aware of, it has one of the largest opportunities for individual personal expression of anything I know of, but I have I'm very humble and I'm very limited, and there's a lot going on in the world that I don't know about. But that is what drew me to it, is that I could be me more in that music than I could be in other.
Okay, so let's begin for the next question. So how would you define the concept of cultural communication through the music?
Well, first of all, every culture is different.
Okay.
I can never fully understand any other culture, so how can I understand culture? Well, I can read about culture, right? I can go and I can visit, but if I visit, then I'm a tourist.
Yeah.
And if I'm a tourist, then how much of a culture do I really understand? Not very much, right? I know a lot of people who go to other countries and they're there for 2 weeks and they're just going to the tourist sites, and then they think they understand the culture, but they don't, right? So for me, if I'm going to visit another country, I like to be with people who are working and not be a tourist, but be someone who's doing something associated with the culture. And I feel like I learn more about the culture by being in that position than by being a tourist. So I have found music to be a way, through communicating with someone else from another culture, to understand them as a person and a human being and that culture, that if I interact with them in a musical way where we're working on something together, we're trying to create something new, we're respecting what each other are bringing, because they're going to have skills that I don't have, I'm going to have skills they don't have, and what we need to do is we need to come together and see how we can communicate through music and communicate peace, love, understanding, acceptance, and also that an acknowledgement that we never can fully understand each other. But I think that through music, we can understand each other on a very deep level, and particularly, for example, I don't speak Hindi at all, right? So if I'm performing with a musician who speaks almost exclusively Hindi, I can make a communication and I can form a connection in a way that I feel is very powerful and others feel is very powerful through music that can't be done through language or other means.
Okay, what do you feel about the Indian culture? What do you feel about the Indian music?
Well, I've been a fan of Indian music for ages. I remember I'm having a flashback. There was a world music course I took in 1984, before you were born. And I remember that's when I was first introduced to Indian music. And it was a world music class, and he was playing some different ragas and different scales and how inflections work, and my brain was just exploding because I was trapped in the Western way of thinking, which is very rigid when it comes to pitch and melody and tuning, actually. Not to get too technical for your listeners, but the tuning is very different in Western music. So it opened my mind in a big way even at that time. So I don't feel like I truly understand Indian music at all, but I know that the tradition is very, 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 very deep, very rich, very rhythmically complex. I was playing with a tabla player 2 weeks ago, and he blew my mind. And he was doing a cycle, and I couldn't figure out how long the cycle was and when it would come back for the hit. And I kept trying to think, well, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? And then I would almost get it, but then I would miss it. And we were just laughing, because I wasn't able to get it, but I could understand what was going on, and we could laugh about it. and that was really, really fun, really interesting. So I love that, and I love I could go on forever. Your listeners are going to get bored, but the richness of Indian melody is just huge. And what can be done, for instance, with some of the instruments, like the sitar, the bending of the notes, or the way the voices are trained to high or like that, rather than just be a stable pitch like in the United States. That just adds color. It's like seeing a picture in black and white, and then all of a sudden it's in color.
Yeah.
So I think the Indian music is like Indian clothing and Indian textiles and fabric. It's very colorful, it's very detailed, it's very intricate, and it's very beautiful.
As I listen from the radio field, your voice is so beautiful. Really. After this, you have collaborated with different musicians from many countries around the world. Which culture experience has inspired you most?
Well, I think Indian culture has to be at the very top of the list, and the way I think that Indian culture has done that is through expanding my sense of what pitches are available and how I approach pitches, and also then rhythmically, I find personally Indian music to be, especially the tabla stuff, to be extremely complex and complicated. And so it's gotten me to think in much different ways.
This is very difficult.
It's very difficult for me. Yes, it is. Maybe for other musicians not. I was actually felt very good that I was at a big festival in Kiragar I'm trying to remember his name, I can't. He's a famous tabla player who is Indian but lives in London now, but he was a special guest and came back.
Okay.
And he was playing such complicated things. Another tabla player was on stage so that the harmonium player, if the harmonium player got off, he would start clapping the beat for the harmonium player, who was also an expert harmonium player. So that made me feel better, because I need the conductor to tell me just like the harmonium player needed. So I thought that was really funny that it was so complex, even another Indian musician was getting confused. Yeah, I thought it was fun. It was great.
Definitely, sir. Then after this, you are often combine poetry and jazz. How did this unique fusion idea came to you?
Yes, it actually was not my idea. There's a very famous poet that lived in my city. He won the biggest national awards that you can win in the United States. His name is Philip Levine, and his poetry is beautiful, by the way. I absolutely love it. And I was a fan of his. And then a group was doing a fundraiser for a film festival, and they asked us to both perform together. And so we collaborated and came together. People loved the concert. People said, "Oh, you need to do more of this." He was getting very old, and so we decided we would make an album. That album did extraordinarily well, not only in the United States, but was performed all over the world. And it was really something. It was very special and meaningful. My brother is an English professor, and I've studied the pitch of speech, and that helps me understand poets and poetry. So once I recorded that, and it did so well, many poets started to ask me to work with them and to record with them. And I've always loved literature, and so it's been a delight for me not to just do a straight song, but to try and understand a poem and then see if I, through music, can show deeper understanding by having music with it. In other words, my concept is a poem can be beautiful when you read it. A poem can be beautiful when you speak it. But how, if you speak it with music,
and you feel it,
can that music give the listener a deeper sense of what that poem is about, and the underlying emotional feeling, than if it was just read? That's my goal. Okay. And so I think in many, I think the ones on the album I accomplished that. So I'm very proud of that.
Okay, so did you want to mention any Indian singer name whom you love the way of singing?
Yes, well, there's, and I'd have to look up on my phone the correct name, but the singer goes by Vari. And they're Indian, a female Indian vocalist who is collaborating with the main leader of one of my favorite fusion bands, which is Snarky Puppy. And they have come together to work together. And the album that they have is one of the coolest albums that I've ever heard. And I heard an interview where he was talking about how they collaborated in their method. And they brought in some of the most famous, Bella Fleck is one of the most famous mandolin players in the world.
Yeah, he's a great musician.
Yeah, and I think there are other, you know Bella Fleck?
I
my God, he's amazing. And so he's on the album. They brought in all of these superstars of world music. And she's the person leading all of this. And that, I can look up and I can tell your listeners her name later, but it's just, she's amazing. And she's on my playlist when I'm in the car. I listen to that all the time. She's amazing.
Okay, let's complete it with the last question. What message would you like to give our young musicians and our young students, our viewers, our listeners? What message would you like to give them?
Well, I think one thing that I have learned from my experiences is that it's very, very easy when you are confronted with something new and different. Like it can be a music genre, like maybe you love, I don't know, whatever kind of music you love. Maybe you love Bollywood music, right?
Yeah.
But then maybe someone else likes K-pop, okay? Instead of saying, oh, K-pop is terrible, whatever, maybe be open and just see if there's not something there. In other words, it's easy to not like something that's different than yourself. That's our default as human beings, I think, right? Or maybe even in politics, someone differs with you on something political. It's easy to say, oh, you're a terrible person. Oh, you're
having a different personality.
Yeah, and different personalities. And there's a lot of clash and conflict. In my country right now, there's a lot of clash and conflict. And I think the lesson I've learned is that by opening yourself to different perspectives, to different musics, to different people, what you find is that people all over the planet are basically the same, and they want the same things, which is they want to be comfortable, they want their loved ones to be safe, they care for the people that they love, they want to be accepted, they want to be loved. And so if we can understand that everyone has assets, and that it's not you and me, but it's we. We.
This is a team.
Yes, that's my theme, and I think that music is one way I try to do that. But it's frightening. I'm terrified, like, for example, to play today because I'm playing with some people I've never played with before.
Yeah.
And that's terrifying. So I could say, no, I'm just going to do it with, the people I know and be comfortable. But it's only when we allow ourselves to be uncomfortable that we grow. And so a lot of my life I've been very uncomfortable and afraid, but that's because I'm trying new things. I'm trying to experience new things so that I can be a better human being.
Definitely, sir. And everyone learned this thing, that being a better human being is the best thing in their life, as I thought. Okay, today you are in Mangalwani University. Would you like to give any message to Mangalwani University's teachers, faculties, students, and anyone?
You seem to have an absolutely wonderful university. I'm a believer in universities and higher education. I think it's one of the best things we can do to learn and to grow and to be challenged. And so I hope you know that by being part of the university community, it's a very special, sacred community that we need to respect and honor and finance. And all of that, right? So I admire everyone who's a part of the coming together to learn.
Definitely, sir. Thank you so much to connect with Radio Narad. Thank you so much to join us. Thank you so much for giving different types of information about the music and everything you give us. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. So this is our special guest Benjamin Boone sir from USA, and he gives different type of information. He gives a beautiful learning message, and I think everyone learned to learn. Thank you so much for giving us your time. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. We will meet you for the next special guest with the next program. Thank you so much.